All right, anal sex. So anal sex is sexually stimulating your spouse's anus. But once again, it's not about whether or not it's right or wrong. It's about whether or not you're willing to engage your spouse in this practice. And the reason is because the Bible doesn't condemn it. And if you or I decide that we're going to condemn it when the Bible does not, that's blasphemy. We covered this in part 3 of this presentation series. Now, even though the Bible does not condemn anal sex, a lot of Christianity still does, and they'll use Leviticus chapter 18, verse 22, chapter 20 and verse 13, and Romans 1, 26 and 27 to condemn it. However, if you read these verses through, you'll notice that they do not mention anything about anal sex. They are talking about homosexuality or same-gender sex. They are not saying anything about a husband and wife of opposite genders sexually engaging each other's anuses. It's simply not there. So I know why they're using these verses, but these are not condemning anal sex. Period. So the next question we want to consider is anal sex natural? Honestly, almost anything can be considered natural simply because of the fact that human beings are curious. We like experimenting with things. We like creating things and making things, exploring things, learning about the world around us. So yeah, it can be considered natural in that way. But just because it's natural doesn't necessarily mean that it's safe or that it's holy or something we should do. Now with manual and oral sex, they didn't pose any considerable risks that we needed to address. However, with anal sex, there are some serious risks that should be considered, and they include bacterial infection, rectal tearing, and contracting serious disease. If you are considering engaging your spouse in anal sex, I highly recommend that you look up the risks online so you can be informed and know how to minimize the risks. The last thing that I want to mention is we talked about in a previous presentation series that initially, something can be repulsive. Nature has chastening tendencies. I think we gave the examples of smoking and drinking. Initially, they're repulsive, but if we keep doing it, we can develop a taste for something that is unnatural, not unnatural, but can be dangerous or harmful. And so you want to be really careful because just like with smoking and drinking, anal sex can be originally repulsive because you could smell things you don't want to smell or taste things you don't want to taste, but if you keep doing it, you can come to like it, and this can actually be a dangerous or risky practice. So you really want to be careful there. But ultimately, it comes down to whether or not you're willing to engage with your spouse in this practice, and that's what it all boils down to. So thanks for watching. We'll see you again in the next presentation.